Shortage in classrooms and teachers greets 27 million Filipino learners who trooped to school for the opening of the school year 2019 to 2020. Malacanang assures President Rodrigo Duterte is working to fulfill his promise to raise the salary of public school teachers. Oil firms to implement big-time price rollback beginning Tuesday. And San Miguel and Alaska teams win over their respective opponents in the opening game of the UNTV Cup PBA Legends Face-Off. Good evening. Lack of classrooms greeted thousands of students on Monday morning because the construction of their new building in Malabon City has yet to be finished. As a result, some classrooms used plywood as dividers. Meanwhile, teachers are calling on the government anew to increase their monthly salaries. April Senadoza tells us why.
On June 3, the first day of classes, students from kinder to grade 6 in Acacia Elementary School in Malabon City used makeshift classrooms as temporary learning spaces because the construction of the school's new building has yet to be finished. Some classrooms were divided using plywood.
Oo, by November sana o by December. Oo, kasi tulad niyan, may mga makeshift class kami sa taas, may makeshift class din kami dito. Kaya siguro tiis-tiis lang at mahintay ang pagkatapos ng building na ipinagawa para sa amin.
Meanwhile, the Alliance of Concerned Teachers is seeking an increase in their monthly salaries anew. Wilhelmina Vivar, a grade school teacher and president of ACT Malabon, said the 20,000 peso salary of Teacher 1 as well as her monthly pay of 25,000 as a Teacher 3 will not suffice for their needs.
Kaya ang teacher humuhugot pa rin sa sarili nilang bulsa para mapaganda ang classroom, para maging kaigaya-igaya, maayos sa pasukan.
Vivar hopes the government would also double their salaries, just like what President Rodrigo Duterte did to the monthly pay of the soldiers and policemen.
Sa 5 beses na pagpangako ni President Digong ay talagang umaasa yung ating mga guro dahil hindi po talaga sapat at hindi nakabubuhay yung sahod ng mga guro ngayon.
The president has earlier vowed to increase their salaries this year. That's why the group continues to protest. On another note, the Philippine National Police or PNP said it's important for parents and students to be alert at all times. Here are some tips to ensure the security of students this academic year. To parents, inform the teacher or guard on who will fetch your kid. For students, don't go outside the school premises without any guardian. Don't talk to strangers. Inform your whereabouts to your parents, as well as those who will accompany you. Be alert on the streets. If you will use public transportation, inform the plate number and body number to your parents or guardian. Know the emergency numbers, nearest hospital and police station in your area. The PNP stressed some strangers who talk to students have bad plans.
Kunyari ay magtatanong ng direksyon o manghihingi ng tulong, maganda naman na tumugon tayo sa anumang mga katanungan o kanilang sadya. Pero dapat maging alerto kaagad at i-refer po yung mga taong itong lumalapit doon po sa mga mas nakakatanda or maaaring doon sa pinakamalapit na guard or sa ating teacher or sa pinakamalapit na police.
Parents are still reminded to teach good deeds and to strictly guide their children. April Senadoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Malabon City.
As the opening of classes begins today, authorities from the Department of Public Order and Safety, or DPOS, along with the Quezon City Police, apprehended several tricycle units that serve as school services in Quezon City. Joanna Ano tells us why.
Most students struggle in commuting to school every day using public transportation. This is the reason why some parents prefer to hire a school service for their children. But instead of using authorized school services, some parents hire tricycle operators or drivers as they charge lower. This despite repeated warnings from the government not to patronize tricycles as they are not allowed to operate a school service. Earlier today, several tricycle units operating a school service were apprehended around President Corazon Aquino Elementary School in Quezon City.
Huwag niyo lang gamitin yung tricycle na escort service kasi ang Quezon City government hindi po nagbibigay ng prangkisa ng escort service. Delikado po talaga.
Apprehended drivers were issued a violation ticket and their licenses were confiscated. The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or LTFRB has asked school service operators to install CCTV system and a dash cam on the school service vehicle as this can be a tool if something untoward happens.
Precisely why we're trying to raise the level of confidence, lalong-lalo na sa mga magulang at sa mga school authorities, para ma-entrust ng mga magulang yung mga estudyante nila at mga anak dun sa mga school bus service. When that happens, there would be less private cars that will be used in coming in and out of the school campus.
This was after the LTFRB conducted an inspection of school service vehicles ahead of the opening of classes among private schools. The LTFRB was able to check the engine, seatbelt, fire extinguisher, signal light, and body markings on the vehicles.
Kukuha kami ng yung isang company para lahat kami makamura. Hindi pwede yung individual kasi pag individual malaki yung charge.
The LTFRB has again emphasized to parents not to patronize Colorum School Service since they have no insurance. This means passengers will not be entitled to any financial assistance in case of an accident. Meanwhile, the Department of Education again reminds the public schools administrations not to require their students to bring all their books and notebooks, which make their bags heavy. This aims not to burden to students since majority of them go to school on foot or use public transportation.
So the ideal is, kung ano yung pwedeng iwanan sa eskwelahan na safe and protected and secured, iwanan.
It was in 2010 when Senator-elect Lito Lapid filed a bill limiting the amount of weight of bags carried by children to their schools. This failed to become a law as it had no counterpart version in the House of Representatives. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Some problems were encountered during the opening of classes in several provinces, but a school in Zamboanga City gave awards to students who came early on the first day of school. Janice Inhente will tell us why.
In Bulacan, the students and the teachers in Giginto National Vocational High School still face the lack of classrooms. This as the construction of new classrooms have not been finished in the time for the opening of classes. The 4-story building still has the electrical connection, window, and proper comfort room.
Meron pong mga 1,000 mga mag-aaral ang pwede nating i-house dito sa 4-story, 16 classrooms na ito na kasalukuyan po ay meron naman silang pinagkaklasihan. Maganda po ito kung magagawa at may turnover agad sa atin ay masisigurado ko na ang mga bata ay nasa ideal numbers which is 45 per section.
In Bacolod, there will be no more class shifting for senior high school students in Negros Occidental High School. According to the school administration, the new school building is expected to be finished by the month of August. The students will be temporarily use the audio-visual room as a temporary classroom until the completion of the new classrooms. In Davao City, as early as 6 in the morning, students flocked Davao City National High School for the first day of class. This is the biggest public school in the city with 13,000 students for the school year. The school principal has a reminder to students and teachers on the school rules and regulations.
Bawal ang plastic cups, bawal ang silopins, isulod para maboy na ang basura, maboy na ang clogging sa mga kanal. Bawal mo gawa sungod kay they are working 8 hours, so they are not allowed to get outside unless they have permission from the office.
In Zamboanga City, parents were allowed to enter their children's classroom to avoid developing separation anxiety on the first day of school. The school principal also assured that their teachers have proper training for child behavior students.
Meron talaga dyan yung hindi pa emotionally prepared masyado, umiiyak talaga yan sila para masanay na yung bata hanggang sa maiwan na nila. Kasi meron silang standby area yung kanina doon malapit sa kinder para lang sa mga bata na umiiyak.
The school gave school supplies as a reward to 10 students who were the earliest to come to school or the early birds. And in Tacloban, 6 years after Typhoon Haiyan or Super Typhoon Yolanda struck the country, students in Ridgeview Park 1 and 2 in Barangay Cabalawan, Tacloban City are still in temporary and makeshift classrooms. According to the school principal, they cater the students from kinder to grade 10. Ridgeview is the biggest school in the housing area in Tacloban North. The school administration targets to transfer to the new school building by November or December 2019. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
Local oil prices will significantly decrease this week. In an advisory, oil firm said the prices of gasoline will be reduced by 1 pesos and 75 centavos per liter, diesel by 1 peso and 5 centavos, and 1 pesos for gasoline. The price rollback will take effect on June 4, Tuesday, but Phoenix Petroleum adjusted their prices around noon on Saturday. The oil price slash was implemented to reflect the prices in the international world market. This is the second straight week that oil companies will reduce fuel prices. Last week, the price of gasoline was slashed by 35 centavos per liter, diesel by 45 centavos, and kerosene by 60 centavos a liter. Classes in public schools in the country open today, June 3, as teachers and students look forward to having a challenging school year 2019-2020. Let's watch some hilarious scenes of students as Monokson reports.
It's back to school time. Teachers and students will be busy for most parts of the year. And on the first day of school, scenes of children crying are a normal sight. These are first-timer students afraid of being left alone by their parents in the school. While there are those anxious on day one, others came prepared. Let's now take a look at some of the funny situations inside and outside schools. Exams will always be a part of a student's life. School examinations may include tests of good values and character. One's question says, "How would you introduce a friend?" This is what a grade 1 pupil answered. Letter B, "This is Obet, my pet mouse." Next question, "How would you introduce your mother?" The answer, letter A, "This is Alicia, my talkative mother." Enumeration time. Give examples of things. A glass, correct. A pencil, correct. A watch, correct. Give example of animals. A cat, correct. An elephant, correct. A duck, correct. My teacher, correct. Wait a minute. Your teacher is asking for example of animals. Your teacher is not an animal. Essay writing for 5 points. If you were the president of the Philippines, what would you do to end the illegal drug problem in the Philippines? The answer? Why me? President Duterte is having a hard time with that. I'm sorry, but ask someone else. Maybe it's much better if General Bato will be the one to answer that question. The teacher answered, "It is just an example. I did not say that you are the president." This is the style of some students on their professor's no erasure policy. Some students obtain a perfect score because of their witty moves. If there is no other choice, cut the piece of paper and write your answer. Nice! If there are obedient students, there are also the opposite. Children, don't imitate them to avoid what they experienced. This one is cutting classes. Be careful. Oops!
Ginagawa mo. May cellphone na.
This girl is also ditching her classes. Ouch, that hurts. Some kids have different techniques. They manage to slide through a pole. These are just some scenarios during a school year. But kids, always remember that your parents are trying their best to send you to school, and we must give our best to repay their hardships and sacrifices. Mon Hokson, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara confirms today that the Office of the President refused to reverse its dismissal order against former overall Deputy Ombudsman Melchor Carandang. Guevara, who acted as the government caretaker while President Rodrigo Duterte was on an official visit to Japan, said in a text message that Executive Secretary Salvador Miguel Dea signed the order last week. It was in June last year when the Office of the President found the official was guilty of graft and corruption and betrayal of public trust. A complaint against Carandang discusses an instance when he was said to have received the Duterte family's bank transaction records from 2006 to 2016 from the Anti-Money Laundering Council, or AMLC. Carandang also coordinated with the AMLC for the probe on the first family's wealth, something AMLC later denied. Carandang was suspended for 90 days in January 2018 when he was found to be misusing confidential information and violated the Anti-Graft and Corruption Practices Act. Solons questioned the Commission on Elections about placing the names of party lists of the back of election ballots, which caused a lower voter turnout in the 2019 midterm elections. Meanwhile, the poll body says they are open for suggestions on the use of a hybrid system in the 2022 presidential elections. Grace Cassin will tell us why.
Officials of the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, appeared during the House Committee hearing on public accounts on Monday. The lawmakers asked the COMELEC officials to give their explanation why they decided to put the names of party lists at the back of the ballots, which was not the case before. Solons argued that because of this, only 27 million votes were cast for party lists out of 63 million registered voters.
Voluminous masyado. Ano sir, optimization of the paper. Because optimization of the paper. Yes, Mr. Chair. If you notice, ang haba ng papel, no? So we had to make the paper shorter. We wanted to make the paper shorter. That improves printing time. That improves also reading time on the machine. Also makita nyo yung likod, halos blanco siya. So, ang dami mong nakakain na spasyo sa harap because of the party list.
Wala po kasi tayong makitang reason kung ano po yung sinasabi nyo para mas makatipid. Or printing wise and sa pagbasa rin po. And if you will try to line it up, tatlong linya lang po ang nabawas. But obviously, it's around 2.5 inches ang hinaba po ng 2019.
That was decided by the NBank to put the party list at the back, considering the number of candidates who will run or filed their intent to participate in the party list.
Since 2010, 13, and 16, party list elections were printed in front of the ballots. It is only in 2019 where it was printed at the back. Siguro, it's not acceptable to us.
The lawmakers also believe there are lapses in the part of the poll body in informing the public to look at the back of their ballots, which the COMELEC denied.
Was there any advertisement to educate all our voters in regards na ang party list ay nasa likuran po?
Certainly, that is always mentioned that the ballot is in two phases, front and back. And I have spoken to some voters also who said that when they received their ballot, they were shown the front and the back.
Due to the problems encountered in the recently concluded midterm elections, such as the glitches for more than 2,000 SD cards and over 1,000 vote counting machines, the congressman again plans to file a bill in the 18th Congress to use a hybrid system in 2022 elections.
Yung bilangan manual, then automated yung pagta-transmit ng data.
If Congress mandates a certain model of election system, then that is the model that we will use. Ultimately, it's up for Congress to decide.
Grace Cassin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The Philippine National Police recalls the police escorts of the Tulfo brothers. Janice Inhente will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police or PNP Chief Police General Oscar Albayalde confirmed today that they have recalled the police escorts of the Tulfo brothers after Erwin, one of the brothers, berated Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD Secretary Rolando Bautista in his radio program Tutok Tulfo last week.
Sino ba maniniwala sa amin kung sasabihin natin na walang kinalaman yun? No? It has something to do with these comments to, of course, to the Secretary of DSWD, but that is not the main reason.
The major reason, the PNP chief said, is the periodic review of the PNP Police Security and Protection Group on the civilian who avail of police escorts. 8 police escorts have been recalled from Tulfo brothers, including 2 from Erwin, 2 from Ben, 2 from Rafi, and 2 from his wife Jocelyn, the ACT-CIS party list representative.
It's a part of the regular process ng PSPG to periodically review yung availment of PSPs or Police Protective Security Personnel doon sa mga ating protectees. So hindi lang po yan sa specific na personality, but we periodically review. Pinapa-report namin sila is the conduct of regular na police information and continuing education.
General Albayalde added, attitude and behavior are important for those who seek police escorts. It is not a right but a privilege, he said. The Tulfo brothers had obtained their police escorts because of verified threats on their lives. Last Friday, Erwin apologized for what he said against DSWD Secretary Rolando Bautista. Nonetheless, the PNP and the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP still recalled their police escorts. Janice Inhente, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Senate approves the bill raising taxes on cigarettes today. Several groups showed their support to the passage of the increased tax on cigarettes. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
The Congress has only 2 sessions left to tackle important bills which must be prioritized and passed before the 17th Congress closes. In the Senate, the tobacco tax bill is a priority. Under Senate Bill 2233, Solons proposed to increase the tax to be imposed on every cigarette pack from 45 pesos come 2020 and to add 5 pesos more every year until the tax reaches 60 pesos per pack come 2023. This is compared with the House version in which tax on cigarette per pack will only reach 45 pesos. Several groups went to Senate today to show their support to the passage of the increased tax on cigarette.
What is important is mapasa na po siya by today para po sa ganon ay before the end of the 17th Congress ay makuha na ho natin yung inaasam-asam ho natin na pagtaas ng buwis ng sigarilyo.
For the Department of Finance, the bill must immediately be passed because the fund for the implementation of the government's universal healthcare program in 2020 in the first year of its imposition locks up to over 60 billion pesos. The bill is now approved in the Senate. Meanwhile, Senate President Vicente Soto III calls on the lower house to adopt their version of the bill. Nel Maribuho, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
The UNTV Cup PBA Legends Face-Off commenced on Sunday. San Miguel and Alaska teams bring home their first win in the month-long tournament. Vincent Arboleda will tell us why.
Mga legends. Kaya gusto ko lang mag-disagree kay kaibigan dito. Oh, nice movement without the ball.
The much-awaited UNTV Cup PBA Legends Face-Off finally began on Sunday, June 2 at the Pasig City Sports Center. As expected, the venue was filled with basketball fans of all ages. The first game day of the month-long tourney commenced with opening remarks from PBA Legends Foundation Incorporated Chairman Fortunato Atoyco and UNTV BMPI President CEO Kuya Daniel Harazon. In the first game, San Miguel beat Pure Foods 88-68.
Sana magtuloy-tuloy na to. This is a good start for us. And I know malalakas pa yung mga kalaban, so hindi pa rin kami nakakasiguro. A win is a win. Magandang moral boosting sa amin to, pero this is nothing kung matatalo kami sa next two. Kaya importante yung next game namin.
Ano lang, bad start and kulang sa akin. Basta they're a better team.
San Miguel shooting guard Kiko Adriano was hailed the best player of the game with 15 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1 steal.
Sa totoo lang, nakakamiss. The last time I played, 2008. So, 11 years. So ito, at least pasalamat pa rin sa Panginoon at tayo nakakalaro pa rin.
And in the second game,
4 seconds to shoot, he's on. So the game, Clark Barrientos. Miller has time. Miller puts it up. Yes!
Alaska defeated crowd favorite Ginebra 90-83. Willie the Thriller Miller was named the best player of the game after making 29 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block.
Nakakatuwa kasi alam natin nung kabataan ko nanonood na tayo ng mga rivalry ng mga teams. Ito talaga yung pinakamatatagal na naglalaro na teams. And syempre yung isang nakakatuwa lalo is yung itong laro na to, itong tournament na to is charity event para sa mga ex-pro na nangangailangan.
The Alaska team say they are thankful not just for the win but also for the opportunity to play again.
Yeah, it's so nice, no? Parang feeling namin nasa cloud 9 pa rin kami. With this crowd, sobra. Remembering those days na maraming nagmamahal. Well, until today naman, salamat sa lahat ng sinuporta. Especially sa UNTV, kay Kuya Daniel, sobra, salamat.
The second game of the tournament is on June 9 with a San Miguel, Alaska hardcourt battle at noon and a Ginebra Pure Foods action at 1:30 p.m. at Pasig City Sports Center. Vincent Arboleda, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Basketball enthusiasts called the UNTV Cup off-season PBA Legends Face-Off nostalgic. Nina Armilio will tell us why.
As the UNTV Cup off-season PBA Legends Face-Off opened on June 2 at the Pasig City Sports Center, young and old alike came for the thrill and excitement of once again seeing their favorite PBA legends get in hardcourt action. As early as 9 a.m., spectators arrived to make sure they'd have the best view of the legends passing, dribbling, and shooting their best shot. Like couple Toby and Marjorie, who have been PBA fans since their younger days.
Ginebra mo. 1990s, high school. Parang high school pa eh. Halos lahat sa pamilya namin, Ginebra fans eh.
Ngayon lang uli na makikita yung tsura ng matatanda na. Ano yung tsura ng barangay Ginebra eh.
And mother and daughter Annalie and Precious, who came all the way from Cavite to see their favorites up close and in person, and perhaps a selfie or two.
Kasi po yung mommy ko fan siya ng basketball. So,
nabasa ko sa Google. Nakita ko. So may fundraising pala to.
While for Carlo Ferido, the tournament brings back the memories of the good old days.
Talagang nakaka-nostalgic talaga. Nostalgia talaga tong mga ganitong event. Kahit medyo may edad na andun pa rin yung mga kilos nila. Yun nga lang talagang may edad talaga pero the best. Medyo mabagal pero talagang mapapasigaw ka pa rin.
And of course, present during the opening of the PBA Legends Face-Off is the innovator of the charitable league UNTV Cup, Mr. Public Service, Kuya Daniel Razon.
Sabi ko nga sa kanila, siguro
ito namang off-season natin ng UNTV Cup kasi usually meron din tayong off-season na ginagawa. Baka pwede natin i-sustain muna para mas ma-strengthen yung support for the foundation para mas matulungan yung ating mga nangangailangan ng mga dating basketballista para masuportahan sila doon sa ginagawa nila din ng mga charity.
Though the Purefoods and Ginebra teams did not go home as victors on day 1, the PBA Legends fans got what they hoped for. Day 2 of the month-long PBA Legends face-off is on June 9 when San Miguel takes on Alaska in the first game and Purefoods battles Ginebra in the second game. Tickets are available at the Pasig City Sports Center from 10 a.m. Even jerseys of the team members are up for grabs at the venue. Nino Armilio, UNTV, News and Rescue.
Education Secretary Leonor Briones welcomes over 27 million learners this school year. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
Department of Education or DepEd Secretary Leonor Briones gave her message today to welcome learners this school year 2019-2020. In her message, Briones urged students to remember the efforts of the community to prepare them for this journey. She even personally visited the learners in Signal Village National High School in Taguig City, which has 9,400 learners, and in Comembo Elementary School in Makati City, which has more than 2,000 learners. These are two of the biggest schools in Metro Manila. The Education Secretary wanted to make sure that everything went well on the first day of classes in the two schools. But these schools are just two of those with buildings which meet DepEd's standard. 8,000 wind and earthquake-proof schools must be built in the country according to Department of Education. More than 600,000 of such school buildings are now built.
Declared as totally damaged or with a finding na hindi siya structurally safe. And we are waiting for the newly constructed classroom for them.
One of the things which DepEd also wants to resolve is the salary increase of more than 900,000 teachers in the country. According to DepEd, this is a big challenge on the part of the Department of Budget and Management.
Ang sabi ng DBM, gumagawa sila ngayon ng study, hindi lamang ang sweldo ng teachers ang pinag-aaralan, kundi ang sweldo ng buong public sector. Kasi mahirap para sa isang pamahalaan na kung mag-increase ka ng salary sa isang sektor at maiiwanan, magwa-widen yung gap.
Secretary Briones said 150 billion pesos is needed to fund the teacher's salary hike. Malacanang, for its part, assures that President Rodrigo Duterte will fulfill his promise.
The President is working on that and hopefully that can be responded to. Our economic managers are doing everything to see how things can be done.
Meanwhile, DepEd has extended the deadline of the senior high school or SHS voucher application.
Kasi yung voucher yun ang pamamaraan ng nabibigay ang free high school education. So we're extending applications up to June 7. Kasi karapatan yan ng lahat na citizens, every child has a right.
The SHS voucher program is a financial assistance for qualified grade 10 learners who want to study in private universities and colleges with senior high school program. Meanwhile, DepEd's Oplan Balik Eskwela Command Center have received more than 2,700 issues since its launching last May 27. Most complaints received were about the late opening of the voucher application. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Taguig City.
The Duterte administration, through its Build, Build, Build program, aims to construct the country's first underground subway with Japan as its partner. Watch as June Soriao takes you to a ride at this model subway station in the Japanese capital.
Tokyo is one of the wealthiest and high-tech cities in the world. Various types of public transport are available in the city, including buses, taxis, and subways. This is the Ginza subway station. It has a teller-less ticket-selling system, but using the subway is more convenient with the use of a reloadable tap card. The facility is fully air-conditioned. A passenger need not guess what time the next train will arrive because signboards at the platform indicate the arrival of trains. The train, which runs at 80 kilometers per hour, arrives and departs every 3 minutes so passengers do not create long queues. There are platform screen doors for safety. Wi-Fi service is available at the stations too. The subway stations are flood resilient and earthquake resistant. According to the Philippines Department of Transportation or DOTR, the Tokyo subway system is the model of the first underground train system in the country. The 36-kilometer Metro Manila subway will cost $7 billion or 356.96 billion pesos. There will be 14 stations and 1 extension going to the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, Terminal 3. Phase 1 of the project will be funded by a grant from Japan worth 51 billion pesos. During President Rodrigo Duterte's summit meeting with Prime Minister Abe Shinzo last week, the Japanese official noted that his country is the Philippines' largest partner in the Duterte administration's Build, Build, Build program.
We will continue to strongly support the sustainable economic development of the Philippines through assistance in quality infrastructure.
I welcome Japan's reaffirmation of support for my government's flagship Build, Build, Build.
The Metro Manila subway is expected to be completed in 2025. The DOTR said the subway can serve around 370,000 passengers daily in the first year of full operation. Jun Suriao, UNTV, News and Rescue, Tokyo, Japan.
14 senators signed a resolution that seeks to support Senator Soto as Senate President. Nel Maribujo will tell us why.
In today's plenary session, Senator Manny Pacquiao rotated to every senator a resolution that expresses support for the retention of Senator Vicente Soto III as Senate President. Suddenly, Senator Cynthia Villar faced Senator Pacquiao.
Ito ko pipirma dyan. Kung ipahamak yung aking na partido, ako nakapirma dyan. Hihintayin ko na maayos si Pia at si Aimee. Namay. Pipirma dyan na
Senator Villar clarified in an interview, however, that she was just reminding Senator Pacquiao on the alleged disputes in their party, the Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan or PDP Laban, in which her name had been dragged.
Kaya nga sinasabi ko sa kanila, ayusin nila yung partido nila. There must be something wrong there.
Tapos nadadamay kayo na.
Tapos ako madadamay. In fairness to those people, ayusin nila because they are incoming senators.
The senator later on said she is ready to sign the resolution under a condition.
Kung makausap nila at maayos sila, I'm willing to sign.
Senator Villar was apparently referring to the chairmanship issues of the two incoming lady senators. Senator Pacquiao, for his part, said he does not know of any problems in his party.
Wala man akong nalaman na wala akong alam kung may problema o.
There are 4 PDP Laban senators that won in the midterm elections. They are re-electionist Senator Coco Pimentel and incoming Senators Francis Tolentino, Christopher Bongo, and Ronald Bato de la Rosa. Some of the said neophyte senators are allegedly lobbying for the chairmanship of the big committees and the changing of the Senate leadership. Senator-elect Go has said that he does not know any move to change the current leadership of the Senate. Meanwhile, there are 14 senators who have already signed the said resolution in support of the current leadership of the upper chamber of Congress. Nel Maribujo, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
And for the news abroad, here's Pauline Ompico live from Tokyo, Japan. Good evening, Pauline.
Good evening, Alex. An inspection at an El Paso Border Patrol station where detained migrants are held found that there were 900 people crammed into the 125-person facility at one point. Kat Carriedo will tell us why.
The Office of Inspector General for the Department of Homeland Security has urged officials to take immediate steps to alleviate dangerous overcrowding after it found some adult detainees being held in standing room-only conditions for days or weeks at a Border Patrol facility in Texas. The El Paso del Norte Border Patrol Processing Facility in southern Texas, which has a maximum capacity of 125 detainees, was holding 900 people on site on May 8, the watchdog found in a report dated May 30. The report included eyewitness accounts of families left outside in a parking lot. Staff members told the watchdog that as of May 11, they were no longer holding families in the parking lot. Single adults were held in cells designed for 1/5 as many detainees as were housed there and were wearing soiled clothing for days or weeks with limited access to showers, the report said. The space problems have been exacerbated when detainees with infectious diseases like chickenpox, scabies, and influenza. In its response to the Inspector General report, the Department of Homeland Security said it built a tent that can hold up to 500 migrants in El Paso. It will erect a similar tent there by July 31 and plans a much larger expansion within 18 months. The department received $450 million from Congress to improve humanitarian conditions along the southern border, and it requested an additional $1 billion to continue that work. The Inspector General described Homeland Security's response as partially responsive to its recommendation and urged the department to take more immediate steps to resolve the overcrowding problem. Apprehensions of migrants on the southwest border hit another record high last month with 98,977 people arrested. Kath Carriedo, UNTV News and Rescue, USA.
And those are the news from the other parts of the globe. Back to you, Alex.
Thank you, Pauline Ompico, reporting live from Tokyo, Japan. Samsung has unveiled a line of concept televisions, including one intended for mobile-friendly content and millennial buyers. Stephanie C. will tell us why.
South Korea's tech giant Samsung has unveiled the world's first vertical television, allowing users to watch their content in the same way as they do on their smartphone. Named the Zero, the 43-inch device can pivot from a horizontal to a vertical mode and is designed for the millennial generation of young people who have grown up with smartphones in vertical format. It is possible to project a smartphone screen to the TV and to display other types of content in vertical format. The TV can be flipped to horizontal mode for movies and TV programs in regular widescreen format.
I have to watch videos for work reasons. This TV set allows me to watch vertically and horizontally, just like a big screen phone. I feel it's very convenient.
I read pieces of news online about the vertical TV and came to see the real product. It is not only a TV set, but also a form of decoration too. It can be vertical or horizontal. A very fresh feeling. I'm thinking of buying one.
Currently, it is available online in South Korea at a cost of 1.89 million won. The company also organized a 4-week display that ended June 2, attracting nearly 30,000 visitors. Stephanie C., UNTV News and Rescue.
Thousands of revelers fling tons of tomatoes at Colombia's Tomatina Festival. Meanwhile, Germans get down and dirty in the toughest mud obstacle course in Europe. Nina Emilio will tell us why.
Thousands got down and dirty on Saturday in Arnsberg in North Rhine-Westphalia as they competed in the Tough Mudder endurance event. Some 15,000 people took part in the muddy obstacle course, which takes place annually over 2 days. The racers had to overcome more than 20 obstacles through sludge and muddy waters. According to the organizers, the course in Arnsberg is the toughest mud obstacle course in Europe with the highest incline. Three Russian drivers braved summer heat, mud, and dust to join a unique tractor race in the southern Rostov region on Sunday. Workers from agricultural companies around the country dashed around the race course at speeds of up to 100 kilometers per hour. As visitors to the 17th Bison Track Show sheltered under trees and parasols from the baking heat. Spectators held their breath when one of the tractors hit a haystack on the side of the track and caused several journalists to scramble out of the way, but luckily no one was hurt. And a vast crowd of locals and tourists pelted each other with tomatoes on Sunday, a traditional tomatina that left the Colombian town of Sutamarchen awash in red pulp. The crowd sprinted to a huge pile of tomatoes in the middle of a field, and white t-shirts turned red as the food flew through the air. The area is well known for its tomatoes, and the tomatina is part of a weekend cultural festival that marks the end of the harvest in the agricultural region. Event organizers said the tomatoes used in the fight are leftovers from cultivation and not fit for human consumption. Nina Arnullo, UNTV, News and Rescue.
And those are the reasons behind the news this June 3, 2019. On behalf of Angelo Castro III, I'm Alex Baltazar. And before we close, we will recap with today's significant sound bites because we need to know. We will always ask why. Good evening.
Oo, by November sana o by December. Oo, kasi tulad niyan, may mga makeshift class kami sa taas, may makeshift class din kami dito. Kaya siguro tiis-tiis lang. Mahintay ang pagkatapos ng building na ipinagawa para sa amin.
The President is working on that and hopefully that can be responded to. Our economic managers are doing everything to see how things can be done.
Yung Basel Ban Amendment, ang kino-cover nun ay talagang protection, overall protection na siya, na ang mga developed countries ay hindi na dapat magtapon o magpadala ng hazardous waste sa developing countries, kahit na ito ay in the name of recycling.
Sabi ko nga sa kanila, siguro ito namang off-season natin ng UNTV Cup kasi usually meron din tayong off-season na ginagawa. Baka pwede natin i-sustain muna para mas ma-strengthen yung support for the foundation para mas matulungan yung ating mga nangangailangan ng mga dating basketballista para masuportahan sila doon sa ginagawa nila din ng mga charity.